Hi, this is Mary Kay. I'm going to show you how I paint when I'm traveling. So first of all, I have my cell phone and I take a lot of pictures with it and then I crop it down. Oops, sorry about that, I bumped it. But today I'm not going to be looking at my cell phone because it's taking this video. But what I did was I took a picture, I cropped it, and I ran it off of my computer. So this is what I'm going to be painting. I'm going to pretend it's my cell phone. This is the purse that I travel with. It has almost things in my purse, but it also has my traveling art supplies. It has Kleenexes. I usually keep 2 cards. And it has my palette. This is the big thing. If this purse will fit my palette, then I will buy it. That's the biggest thing. And I also have this little bag with all my little things in it and a toothbrush holder with my paintbrushes. So, open up my palette. That's what I'm going to be painting. Here's my brushes. I have a 1/2 inch 995 Winsor Newton and number 1 Scepter Gold and a Micron PN, or I use a Micron 05. In this little bag, I have a little jar with water. I take this through TSA. When I'm done painting, I always put in fresh water, so I always have water with me. And I have a pencil and an eraser and other things too, which I'll show you later. So when I'm out and I'm looking at, say I'm looking at this, I may just do a quick sketch and then go over it with pen, because I really love to, when I'm traveling especially, to draw with a permanent pen, archival permanent pen, and then paint over it. It's called ink and watercolor wash. So what I'm going to do right now is sketch this in with a pencil. This is my horizon line. It's about 1/3 of the way up. That's where the ocean goes. And then I want my arch, that's going to be my main focal point, to be about right here. So I'll get that in. And so I'm just kind of sketching this out with a pencil, just to kind of get it in the right spot, to make sure that I'm not gonna run off the page. When I'm out painting myself, a lot of times I don't do this step. I just go straight with the pen, because I've done it so much and I feel so comfortable doing it. And then there's 2 rocks here, but I'm going to take one of them out and just put one. Otherwise, there's too much going on this side. The arch comes down. This goes here. This goes up here. This goes back a little bit. So that's my pencil sketch. Now I'm going to go over with my pen. I'm going to start with the arch, start around the arch this time. So what I'm doing when I'm drawing is I'm looking at the shape with my eye, and then I'm trying to trace that basically with my hand as I'm looking at it. And if I don't get it perfect, that's okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just trying to get the feel of the thing I'm visiting. This has a little piece of land that comes across there. And this guy kind of comes down. There's a big shadow there. Set of rocks, which has the lowest spot in the ocean. It goes back and back. And here's my arch. It's a famous arch in Cabo San Lucas. Okay, so I'm not sure I got that right in the right spot, but it's okay too. Then there's a little bit there. Okay, so there's dark lines at the bottom of all these rocks because of the tide pools. So when the tide is up, there's water on all this, and so you get all the sea plants on it. So, and then my horizon line, it's always good when it goes through your arch. That might be kind of right in the middle of it, so maybe not ideal, but it's okay too. Okay, so then I erase those pencil marks and I only have my ink. I'm going to start with the sky. I'm going to wet the sky. I have a video on how I make these cards with Arches watercolor paper. I have a little bit of purple in my brush from the last painting I did, but I'm painting the sky that color, so it's okay. There's my little tissue. So I've been using, I took some of this on my trip. This is Da Vinci Cerulean Blue. And I'm going to put it, here's a bright blue spot in the sky. If I have bright blue on one side of a mountain, I got to have it on the other side. Now I'm going to add a little bit of pink permanent rose to that cerulean blue to get a kind of a chalky violet. And I'm going to paint my clouds in with that. Same thing here. If I have this violet on one side of the mountain, it has to be on this side of the mountain too. And then it's cloudy and soft down to the horizon. So just putting those in softly. I'm gonna just add maybe just a little bit more dark to the corners of the sky. So that's cerulean in French and a tiny bit of permanent rose, and just fill that sky up with some more darks. There, I like that better. Okay, I'm gonna go to the water now, because if I go to the mountains or to this rock formation, then it might blur into the sky. I don't want that. I'm gonna start again with this same cerulean. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? First I'm just gonna kind of wet my ocean using, well, this is very dilute cerulean. All horizontal marks. I'm leaving some of it light blue and some of it white. Now I'll go into the cerulean some more. I especially want this underneath the arch and that spot there, and even over here, because wherever the mountain is going to have a darker, although it seems like this has got a kind of a light blue in this corner. The mountain is going to have a brown reflection. So this is burnt sienna. I'm going to start with burnt sienna. I'm working on the water, going underneath these rock formations. I want to leave a few little white streaks showing. I'm going to go make this a little bit darker brown. So that's burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue, especially right under the rocks. And if there's a dark spot, then I really want to get that to dark. This is going to be in shadow, so I'm darkening that. I love that I think the boat went through there, so there's a little white water that adds, anything that's different is always good to have in a painting. Okay, and then right under the rock, we've got, oh, I didn't put my lights in there first. What's that? A little bit of fluff. Okay, I did not put in the burnt sienna underneath the arch right here. So I gotta do that. And then I can add my darks. Actually, as I'm looking at this photo, it gets more blue as it gets closer to the bottom on each of these. So I'm just going to put that, some more blues down at the bottom. I'm going to leave some whites showing. I see some more light burnt sienna in that area. There. I'm gonna leave this. I'll come back and I'll add a few more darks below. Now I'm gonna go to the rocks. So with the rocks, I'm gonna start with dilute burnt sienna. And the thing that I wanna do is leave, see, I wanna kind of just touch the top of this paper with my side of my brush so that I get some areas that are still white and sort of scratchy, because rocks are just sort of, ooh, ooh, that, I painted my arch. Get out of there, brown. You have to be sky blue right there. Oh boy, that was a bit of a mistake there. Okay, I have to make this look like it's the sky. Hopefully that worked a little bit. And then that this is the ocean back there. It's always harder to fix a mistake than it is just to get it right the first time, for sure. All right, I'm gonna go with that for now. Okay, so I'm working on the mountains. This is burnt sienna again, and I'm just putting it on, like I said, scratchy. So I'm leaving some white paper showing. So rocks really are just lights and darks that are sort of scratchy and have crags and bumps and scratches in them. This one here. Same over on these rocks and the arch. Okay, now I'm going to make some dark brown. It's really the same colors that I used in the ocean, but I'm not using the cerulean blue now. There's some nice dark black almost. I want dark brown. So now I'm going to put these in where I see the shadows. So there's a shadow coming down the side. Is my head getting in the way? Here. This shadow is here. And there's lots of shadows at the bottom of the rocks because that's where the seaweed and you can see this has got a shadow coming down. There's shadow to here. That little guy has a bit of a shadow on him. This has shadow at the bottom because the rocks where the water goes up and down twice a day, they get very dark. Right at the top of the arch, it's got dark on this side. up here on this rock. I'm just kind of painting it loosely, trying to get the feel of it, trying to make you know that this is just rocks in the ocean, sticking out of the ocean. Now I'm going to switch my little brush and do some more darks at the bottom of the rocks and in the ocean. So my dark is burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. Okay, so right here, that's pretty dark. Maybe not that dark. I'll just lift it up a little bit and take a little paint out with my brush. Okay, here we go. I'm just adding another layer of dark at the bottom of the rocks, kind of making it scratchy. There's some little scratches up here too. If I hadn't used an ink pen, this would just look like a regular watercolor painting without the dark lines. I just like to draw, so I almost always use an ink pen when I'm out. And then maybe this is that's back, so this is, I didn't really want my eye to go here, so I just kind of blur that. And then this here. Okay, and now I'm going to use the same darks with maybe a little more French and put darks into the water below the rocks. And that shadow comes down. This is pretty dark, so I think I'll make it dark. And then right here in the shadow, the water's got some darks. There, I'm just going to stop with that. So when I'm done, what I do is I just rinse out my brush. I go get fresh water. I always make sure I start off with clean water. I wipe out my palette. I put everything back in my purse. I pull the tape off. I often will sign it with, especially if it's an ink with wash. I'll almost always sign those. I have to pick which side I want to sign it on. I'm gonna go opposite my arch there and just do. Hopefully this is dry. And I usually sign my initials, MKS Jolly. And I have a card. Thanks for watching.